हेलो एंड नमस्ते एवरीवन। आई नो बहुत दिनों से हमारे इस चैनल पे एक भी वीडियो अपलोड नहीं हुआ है। वो इसलिए क्योंकि हम अभी भी डिसाइड कर रहे हैं कि इस चैनल को हम क्या दिशा देंगे। इस मामले में हम बहुत सारे स्क्रिप्ट्स लिख रहे हैं, काफ़ी लोगों से बातचीत चल रही है। तो हमने सोचा कि क्यों ना इसी बीच में हम एक गेस्ट पॉडकास्ट कर लें। क्योंकि गेस्ट पॉडकास्ट जो है वो एक इट इज़ वन ऑफ द को पिलर्स ऑफ आवर चैनल। तो इसलिए मुझे बड़ी खुशी हो रही है एंड आई एम ऑनर्ड टू गेट मिस्टर नवरूप सिंह हु इज़ ए मेंटर एंड अ गुड फ्रेंड। उनके साथ मैं 2016 में जुड़ा था। जब मैंने उनकी किताब द न्यू ग्लोबल ऑर्डर पढ़ी, जो उन्होंने को ऑथर्स हिमजा पारेख और नवीन तोमर जी के साथ लिखी। वो बुक पढ़ने के बाद ना मैं काफ़ी एक तरीके से जियो पॉलिटिक्स में काफ़ी इंटरेस्ट हो गया मुझे। और मैं इसी श्रृंखला में मैंने बहुत सारी किताबें पढ़ी। क्योंकि वो किताब जो है वो बेसिक्स को टारगेट करती है। वो बताती है आपको कि जो हमारी दुनिया है, वो कैसे किस तरीके से गवर्न होती है। ठीक है, तो मैं बस इतना ही बोलूँगा, आप जाइए अमेज़न पे, क्योंकि वो किताब खरीदिए, वो अभी भी अवेलेबल है, किंडल वर्ज़न। मैंने ना इस एपिसोड में नवरूप जी से जो है बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल किए हैं, जो कि हाल ही के दिनों में कितनी भी चीज़ें चल रही हैं दुनिया में, वर्ल्ड में, स्पेशली आफ्टर द इलेक्शन ऑफ ट्रम्प in the United States, and how Trump 2.0 is so disruptive to the world. तो इस इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि नवरूप सिंह जी को इनवाइट किया जाए, उनसे बातचीत की जाए, उनसे कुछ सवाल किए जाएँ इस मामले में। ताकि हम एक बेटर इन्फॉर्म्ड सिटीज़न बने। हम कुछ मामलों में जो आई नो जियोपॉलिटिक्स बहुत चीज़ों को अफ़ेक्ट करता है। कहीं न कहीं वो आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ़ को भी अफ़ेक्ट कर रहा है। तो उसमें हम बेटर डिसीज़न मेकर्स बने। जैसे-जैसे एक तरीके से जो उथल-पुथल हो मच रही है दुनिया में, वो आगे और बढ़ेगी। तो इस कड़ी में एज़ एन ऑडियंस यू कैन listen to his views and make conscious decisions about many things in your life. तो प्लीज़ आप ये वीडियो देखिए, और ज़रूर एंड तक देखिए। और उनका वीडियो शुरू होने से पहले प्लीज़ चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, बेल नोटिफ़िकेशन दबाइए, लाइक कीजिए, बिकॉज़ बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें आने वाली हैं इस चैनल में। इनफैक्ट इसका विस्तार भी हो सकता है आने वाले दिनों में। बस थोड़ा-सा आप पेशेंस रखिए, हम पे ट्रस्ट कीजिए। आई नो दिस चैनल इज़ गोइंग टू डू वंडर्स। और इस वीडियो को आप एंड तक ज़रूर देखिएगा प्लीज़। क्योंकि नवरूप जी ने सिर्फ़ इसमें जियोपॉलिटिक्स की नहीं, कुछ गहरी स्पिरिचुअल विज़डम भी दिए हैं उन्होंने एंड के सेक्शन में। तो प्लीज़ वहाँ तक देखिए ये वीडियो। अ, चलिए फिर शुरू करते हैं। I myself and my audience would like to understand कि इंडिया और अमेरिका के बीच में जो ट्रेड डील की जो बातचीत चल रही है, वी आर सीइंग दैट देयर इज अनदर काइंड ऑफ अ डिले। इवन इफ उनका जो ट्रेड डेलीगेशन था यूएस का, वो इंडिया आया, वो रहे यहाँ पे फॉर अ डे, बट सडनली वी कम टू नो दैट मार्च तक ट्रेड डील होगी। ये सर चल क्या रहा है? व्हाई देयर इज अ डिले सो मच बिटवीन इंडिया एंड यूएस ट्रेड डील, एंड सडनली जो रिलेशनशिप है दोनों देशों के बीच में, वो ऐसा दिख रहा है कि नेगेटिव साइड जा रही है पूरी तरीके से। जो हमने जो 20 इयर्स तक, जो 2 दशकों से जो बेसिकली एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनी थी, एक स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप बनी थी भारत और अमेरिका के बीच में, वो हम देख रहे हैं कि इट इज़ सडनली अनरावेलिंग, एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली इट्स ऑन डाउनवर्ड स्लोप। उसमें सर व्हाट डू यू थिंक सर? इसको सर थोड़ा आप बताएँगे ये चल क्या रहा है सर बेसिकली?
बहुत बढ़िया सवाल यार। इसमें मैं इतना ही कह सकता हूँ कि व्हाट वी हैव इज़ अ वेरी यूनिक एंड अ ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग सिचुएशन ग्लोबली। जैसे आपने बताया कि ट्रेड डेलीगेशन इंडिया आया हुआ था, तो हम लोगों को 3 चीज़ जानने की बहुत ज़रूरत है। मैं ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं करूँगा, लाइक बी प्रिसाइज़ टू द टॉपिक टुडे। इसमें यूएस की फॉरेन पॉलिसी के 4 लेग्स हैं। 1, उन्होंने इंडिया को एज़ अ सर्विस बैकएंड देखा फॉर क्रिएटिंग द सर्विसेज फॉर इट्स आईटी सर्विसेज, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, उन्होंने इंडिया को जो एक वो एज अ पिलर इन आर्क ऑफ कंटेनमेंट ऑफ चाइना वो लोग व्यू करते थे, स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप उसके बेसिस पे थी। नंबर 3, वो चाहते थे कि आप रशिया से आर्म्स वगैरह डाइवर्सिफाई करके अल्टीमेटली आप जो है यूएस एनर्जी और यूएस आर्म्स को ले। एंड चौथा, वो चाहते थे कि आप अपनी मल्टी अलाइनमेंट की जो आपकी स्ट्रेटजी है और अलग अलग ग्रुप्स में आप बैठे हुए हैं, सीओ, ब्रिक्स, इनको छोड़ के आप अमेरिका के साथ एज एन एलाई स्टार्ट करें और डॉलर डॉलर सप्लाई चेन और सिस्टम का हिस्सा बनें। अब कुछ हद तक तो हम लोगों ने माना माना भी, जब तक वो देने को तैयार थे, लिबनुआ हुआ, कौन का सब हुआ। बट डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने आके इसमें एक और कॉलरी ऐड कर दी कि ये 4 पिलर्स तो हैं ही हैं, एक और 5वीं कॉलरी ऐड करी कि इंडिया को मार्केट एक्सेस देना पड़ेगा टू यूएस कॉर्पोरेशन, स्पेसिफिकली इन सेंसिटिव सेक्टर्स लाइक डिफेंस एंड स्पेस, यहाँ पे इंटीग्रेशन होना चाहिए। एंड एग्रीकल्चर एंड डेयरी, जो उनके एग्रो कॉर्पोरेशन लाइक कारगिल और अदर बहुत सारी कंपनीज हैं जो चाहती हैं, ठीक है, मॉन्सांटो एंड कंपनी। एंड देन यू हैव फार्मास्यूटिकल्स की, वो चाहते हैं कि डाइल्यूट किया जाए, डेटा लोकलाइजेशन के वो रूल्स चाहते हैं डाइल्यूट किया जाए, जिनको वो छोटे तौर पे नॉन ट्रेड बैरियर्स बोलते हैं। अब इनके भारत की किसी भी सरकार के लिए इन चीज़ों पे गिव अप करना इज लाइक सरेंडरिंग इकोनॉमिक एंड पॉलिटिकल सॉवरेंटी एंड स्ट्रेटेजिक ऑटोनॉमी। दैट वुड मीन destroying our relationship with Russia, India's ability to hedge China, because ना चाहते हुए भी चाइना हमारा पड़ोसी है और 2 से 3 हज़ार किलोमीटर की हमारे साथ उसके बाउंड्री है, विच वी कैन नॉट इग्नोर। अमेरिका तो एक ओशन के बाहर बैठा है, 2 ओशंस के घिरा हुआ है, तो उनके लिए इतना मुश्किल नहीं है, हमारे लिए मुश्किल है ऐसे डिसीजन लेना व्हेन वी लिविंग इन अ हॉस्टाइल नेबरहुड। तो ये सब चीज़ देते हुए जो वो डोनाल्ड ट्रंप एंड उसका जो ट्रेड डेलीगेशन, रॉबर्ट लाइटहाइज़र के जो मेंटर है उनके, और साथ में पीटर नवारो एंड हार्वर्ड लट, जो ये लोग मांग रहे हैं स्टीफन मिलर, वो उनको मिल नहीं सकता है। और वही नतीजा हमने इस जो 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 ट्रंप की टीम इंडिया आई, जो डेलीगेशन आया, उस पे भी देखा। उन्होंने कहा, और जो जो आज मैंने हिंदू अखबार में भी पढ़ा कि लेटेस्ट ऑफर ये है कि भैया पहले तो आप 25% फर्स्ट ट्रांच में आप हटाएंगे रशियन ऑयल। जबकि खबर ये है कि रशियन ऑयल के इंपोर्ट 6 महीने के हाई पे हैं। बीपीसीएल, एचपीसीएल और सरकारी इंपोर्टर्स जो है दबा के रशियन ऑयल इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, यहाँ तक कि जनवरी तक के क्रूड के ऑर्डर दे दिए गए हैं। तो डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के सैंक्शंस का ओपन डिफाइंस चल रहा है, जबकि हमने सैंक्शन एंटिटीज से नहीं ले रहे हैं, नॉन सैंक्शन एंटिटीज से ले रहे हैं। So we are in compliance with the sanction, yet we are also kind of asserting our sovereignty और strategic autonomy। तो एक तो हमने ये डिमांड रखी, दूसरा हमने कहा चलो आपको एप्पल, वॉलनट, क्रैनबेरी, इन पे हम टैरिफ फ्री कर देते, ठीक है। ऑटो ऑटो पार्ट्स पे भी, बाइक्स पे भी हम टैरिफ हटा देते हैं। आप जो है हमें हार्ली डेविडसन, जो उनकी बहुत बड़ी पुरानी डिमांड रही है, उसके बदले में आप 25% टैरिफ हटाओ और हमें कुछ दो। There is no mention of agriculture access. There is no mention of dairy, GMO being imported. There is no mention of dairy at all in anywhere, even if it is comes for a GMO. अगर वो लोग को कॉर्न और सोयाबीन कुछ आता भी है तो वो इंडस्ट्रियल यूज के लिए जाएगा, अगर वो हुआ। But problem with Donald Trump is that India is not ready to give any market defense deal like F-35s or any big deal जो वो चाहते हैं to clinch। अब इसी के एवज में जो मेरी रीडिंग है कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रम्प का प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी को फोन आया, जो आई थिंक परसों रात को, बट वेरी इंट्रिगिंगली प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प हैज नॉट रिस्पॉन्डेड। हिज ट्रुथ सोशल टाइमलाइन इज टोटल साइलेंट। there is no readout from the White House. There was a readout from the Indian PMO, a tweet from the Indian Prime Minister tagging the Porter's handle and Donald Trump, real Donald Trump. That's his handle. लेकिन राष्ट्रपति की तरफ से कोई एक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं है या जबकि उनका एम्बेसडर सर्गियो गौर ने लिखा कि हाँ द प्रॉक्सिमल कॉल. नाउ दिस प्रेजेंट्स मी अ सिनेरियो दैट देयर इज बहुत अंदर ना बहुत सतह पे आपको सब शांत लग रहा है लेकिन अंदर बहुत तल्खी है. There's a lot of creases to be ironed out. और उसमें आप ना मतलब यू कैन नॉट द अमेरिकन्स कैन नॉट ब्लेम इंडिया फॉर इट बिकॉज इट वाज स्टार्टेड बाय डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, जस्ट ट्रेड डेलीगेशन से एक दिन पहले आप पाकिस्तान को 92 F-16 के एयरफ्रेम्स के लिए आप जो है $600 मिलियन के आप एड सैंक्शन करते हैं. आप देख रहे हैं आप क्या मैसेज सेंड कर रहे हैं इंडिया को, बिकॉज वो फिर F-16 इंडिया के खिलाफ इस्तेमाल होंगे वॉर में या किसी भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में इस्तेमाल होते हैं. You are funding a terrorist nation and then you are sending a trade delegation to India. फिर हमारे ट्रेड टैक्स तो बिल्कुल ठीक है. फिर आज इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में खबर छपी कि उन्होंने यूएसटीआर के बंदों ने 2 घंटे की मीटिंग्स करी हैं यूएस टेक जायंट्स के साथ और उन्होंने बहुत ओपनली एक चीज बोली है कि देखिए आप लोग जो ये कमिटमेंट्स कर रहे हैं थाउजेंड बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स की इंडिया में गूगल, अमेजोन, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, ये कमिटमेंट्स आप उनको व्हाइट हाउस को ये गवारा नहीं गुजरा है. जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी है यूएसटीआर की और व्हाइट हाउस की, दे आर नॉट हैप्पी विद इट. Yes, saying balls, it should be America first and it's kind of like a nudge कि भैया बहुत कमिटमेंट हो गया या वाइंड डाउन करो और वापस घर लेके आओ. और उसी एक्सप्रेस में उन्होंने ये भी इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में ये भी कोट किया हुआ है कि दे वांट डेटा प्रोटेक्शन रूल आल्सो टू बी डाइल्यूटेड. So they are raising another cantankerous issues with India, which India is unlikely to agree. Which brings me to the point that the Indo-US trade deal is very much unlikely now. And there is no one else to blame than Donald Trump himself. Many people will say, यार देखो यूएस हाउस में वो रेजोल्यूशन आ रहा है टर्मिनेट करने के लिए. ये आ रहा है लेकिन क्या बायपार्टिजन सपोर्ट है? क्या ट्रम्प के रिपब्लिकन उसको सपोर्ट करेंगे? नहीं करेंगे. और ऐसे रेजोल्यूशन बहुत सारे एडमिट होके पड़े हुए हैं लेकिन वो जब तक कंसेंसस नहीं होता, रूलिंग्स नहीं होती, वोट नहीं होते, अप्रूव नहीं होता तो कैसे होगा? इट इज नेक्स्ट टू इम्पॉसिबल. तो जो इंडिया और अमेरिका के जो टाइज है वो बहुत बहुत ज्यादा, बट आई विल नॉट से द गल्फ इज टू वाइड टू ब्रिज नाउ. देयर इज अ ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट बिटवीन इंडिया एंड अमेरिका. और आप जितना मर्जी ट्रेड को बढ़ा लो, आप बातें कर लो, आप आओ डेलीगेशन भेज लो, बट देन इट इज नॉट. एंड व्हाट डिड पीयूष गोयल से कि इफ यूएसटीआर का बंदा जो ओपनली कांग्रेसनल हियरिंग में बोल रहा है दैट इंडिया इज अ टफ नट टू क्रैक, व्हाट डू मीन टफ नट टू क्रैक? मींस यू आर नॉट गिविंग इन टू दोस डिमांड व्हाट अमेरिकंस आर डिमांडिंग. एंड देन लेटर ऑन ही सेज नो बट वी हैव गॉट द बेस्ट ऑफर. फिर पीयूष गोयल ने बोला ना कि अगर बहुत बढ़िया ऑफर मिली तो डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प साइन नहीं करता. So that points out the problem is not with the bipartisan support. There may be congressmen across the aisle in Democrats and seven Republicans who might be willing to support, but the White House is a totally hostile territory.
सॉरी टू कट यू ऑन दैट, बट इसमें मेरा एक सवाल है सर कि जो हम ट्रम्प 1.0 देखते हैं, ठीक है, वहाँ पे हमने देखा था कि और बाइडेन एरा में भी हमने देखा था कि एक एक दे रियली वांटेड इंडिया टू कम ऑन बोर्ड, एंड दे वर सॉर्ट ऑफ बिल्डिंग दैट allyship, बट ट्रम्प 2.0 में अलाइशिप नहीं चाह रहे हैं वो लोग। जो हम उनके स्टेप्स देख रहे हैं, उसमें ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो चाह रहे हैं कि इंडिया एक वेसल स्टेट बन के रह जाए, जस्ट लाइक अदर कंट्रीज लाइक लेट्स से जापान और अदर और सम यूरोपियन नेशंस आर टू द अमेरिका। तो सर ये जो चेंज हुआ है एकदम से, ठीक है? और दूसरी बात ये है कि हमें लग रहा था कि ट्रम्प विल बी quite brutal on China. Okay, and he was the one who actually started a trade war during the Trump 1.0. And Biden, continued it. But of course, there was a diplomatic channels were always open and they were trying to sort it out. But Trump, it seems like as if he's giving sort of a leeway to China. ये सब समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। इंडिया तो आपका एक स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनर था। आप चाइना को एक एनिमी मान रहे थे और अचानक से अब दिख रहा है कि अब इंडिया जो है वो एक तरीके से एडवर्सरी हो रहा है आपका, और चाइना जो है आप उनके साथ एंगेजमेंट कर रहे हैं। आप उन्होंने आपको सोयाबीन की डील भी आपसे ले रहे हैं, प्लस आप उनको चिप्स भी भेज रहे हैं। आप उनको एनवीडिया के जो जीपीयूज़ हैं, वो भी आप देने को अब तैयार हो गए हैं, जो आप बहुत तरीके से उसके सेल को जो आप लिमिटेड कर रहे थे चाइना में। तो ये जो चेंज है, ये जो डायनामिक्स जो चेंज हुए हैं, इंडिया, यूएस एंड चाइना, ये सर ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, बिकॉज़ बिकॉज़ आई थिंक द गवर्नमेंट फ्रॉम आवर साइड इट्स क्वाइट शॉक्ड बाय दिस। They didn't expected this to happen. And especially a prime minister who actually, invested a lot in building that sort of relationship with USA. So why that is happening, sir? इसका कारण क्या है, सर? इसका मूल कारण क्या है?
देखो, ये जो सिचुएशन जो बदली है ना, ये सिचुएशन इसलिए बदली है यार, बिकॉज़ वी हैव व्हाट द अमेरिकन्स आर नाउ आस्किंग, दैट दे आर आस्किंग अस to actually fend for, their strategic objectives. चाइना का कंटेनमेंट हो गया, ताइवान, इंडो पैसिफिक, रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग आवर सप्लाई चेन्स, ठीक है? कि हम एक ओपन स्टैंड मुखर होकर चाइना के खिलाफ लें, कि हम पाकिस्तान का न्यूसेंस टॉलरेट करें, कि हम रशिया से एनर्जी टाइज कम करें, हम उनके सैंक्शंस को कंप्लाई करें, हम कोई प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट ना करें, हम कोई इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ना करें, हम खाली एक फ्रंट लाइन एलाई और एक सर्विस बैकएंड की तरह अमेरिका की तरह काम करें। वो एक वेसल चाहते हैं, वो एक एलाई चाहते हैं, जैसे एक ओबीडियंट एलाई, जैसे साउथ कोरिया है, जैसे जापान है, जिनको उन्होंने बहुत जबरदस्त प्रेडेटरी एंड टैरिफ्स और काइंड ऑफ टर्म्स लगाए हैं ट्रेड डील्स में, $500 बिलियन दो, $400 बिलियन दो। तो इंडिया एज अ स्टेट इज नॉट साइकोलॉजिकली एंड डीएनए वाइज मेड अप फॉर इट। Ever since we ever since we have been independent in 1947, we have never allowed ourselves to be bullied out. चाहे वो अंग्रेज थे, चाहे वो चाइनीज थे, चाहे वो अब अमेरिकन हैं, चाहे वो टाइप पे सोवियत यूनियन था। We were we have close affinities, we have friendships, we have natural allies, but we do not have that kind of a vassal kind of a treatment, because at the grain of our mindset, our psychology, or our foreign policy, which has been consistent since 1947, is that we have been kind of a non-aligned earlier and now multi-aligned. And plus, we hate the imperial overreach by hegemons who try to dominate us. Okay? चाहे वो अंग्रेज थे, they were the Britishers, or now they are the Americans. So all said and done, like we are, to do what the Americans desire of us is actually not tenable. And since we are not giving them the market access what they require, and the tariff, specifically non-trade barriers, we are not giving them, a servitude and like a tributary state what they are asking for, right? So they are now livid at how dare you defy us. You live on our capital, you live on our technology, Wall Street and Silicon Valley, you feed on it, you have grown out of it. And now suddenly you say, boss, I will not serve you, or I will not serve the empire, the financial empire of Pax Americana, the dollar. And then you go and sit with Russia, you go and sit with China, and then you have a BRIC settlement, payment settlement system coming up, and then you are doing all these bilateral trade deals. So, but the Americans don't understand that if today they are losing control over their own global order, and they are losing the leverage over the global financial system and trade, it is because of their own doing. किसने बोला था इन लोगों को कि आप जाके रशिया के 2022 में और जाके उनके रिजर्व को सैंक्शन करो? हकीम ने बोला था क्या? It was Americans who, even the JP Morgan advised that please do not sanction them and do not put Russia off SWIFT, but they did it. अब आप भुगतो. And then coming to the coming to the next point. Coming to the next point. Let me finish on the next point.
Sure.
Now what America and China are doing is that America knows that it does not have the cards like what China has in respect of like semiconductors, on respect of rare earth minerals, everything from chip to F-47s or F missiles, Pentagon, everything is EVs, solar panels, everything is dependent upon semiconductor or chips, and every semiconductor and chip is dependent upon rare earth, and China happens to control it by 90%. 70 to 80% कंट्रोल चाइना का प्रोडक्शन एंड माइनिंग पे, रिफाइनिंग पे है, जो अमेरिका से बहुत दूर है. And knowing all these things, now the Americans think, boss, we are losing the game. So what they do is they have tried to barter out. They know that they cannot compete against China the way they want to. So as the national security strategy, which has come out in 2025, few days back, they've clearly spelled out that America wants to be a Western hemispherical power, implementing the Monroe Doctrine. Make sure that Russia and China are kicked out of Colombia, Peru, Venezuela, right? Brazil, Argentina, which happens to be the backyard of America. For north to south, it has to be America. Only America first. And which is why you saw even a country like Mexico impose 50% tariffs on India and China. This is crazy. Because we have no hostility with Mexico, but it is under the US diktat that the whole America will belong to the American content, the supremacy of America. Then they want to use Europe as a staging ground and asking that would take the bulk of the responsibility of NATO without dependence upon America. And if you want to fight the Russians, do it yourself. We are not going to do it for you. That's a very clear stated policy. And they are instigating countries like Italy, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, boss, निकलो, छोड़ो EU. ठीक है, वो तो उनकी स्ट्रैटेजी में जो एक्सटेंडेड स्ट्रैटेजी है उसमें तो वो आ ही गया बाहर. And then you have the Silicon Valley, the oligarch or libertarian like Elon Musk was saying, Ursula should be replaced, European Union should be destroyed. So the policy belt is now very clear in Europe, and which is that Ursula yesterday said, that Donald Trump should not meddle into European democracy. That's, by the way, a charade, but still. And at the same time, they want allies in Pacific and like South Korea, Japan, to go and be, stand as the bullies or the henchmen of the American empire in South China Sea, in East China Sea, and kind of lead a charge against the Chinese. At the same time, while reorienting supply chains, what they are doing is they created a pact like Pact Silica, which has Israel, which has UAE, which has Australia, Japan, which has all members of Quad, which has I2U2 all members except India, which is one of the biggest, holders of the rare earths in the world. It is out of it. Brazil, out of it. China, out of it. So the whole policy of Trump is, is self-contradictory. He has selected, they have a set frame in mind. America, Western Hemisphere, between Atlantic and Pacific, all for America. No Chinese presence, no Russian presence will be allowed. No Iran staging ground will be allowed. Europe, okay, I will outsource, the dirty tricks department of the European continent to the European leadership and bureaucracy. Let them do what they want to do with Russia. Play your games. We will supply arms quietly, but we will not actively intervene. Then they want to use countries like Japan, South Korea to encircle China, Indonesia, Philippines to encircle China in the Pacific, the first island chain. And then they want to lock in the Middle East countries for oil and commodities so that Iran and other countries which are the proxies, the ultimate plan is for a regime change in Iran as well. Because Iran is part of the Sino-Russian axis. So this is a very well stated foreign policy, and unfortunately, that document of national security strategy does not even emphasize properly in so many words on India, which Biden and which Obama give so much of stress to, even Trump one gave stress to. And now what they are thinking is, what they are looking out for is commercial interest. और अब जो हमने देखा है जो डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प की ट्रेड जो जो, जो ट्रेड के बंदे गए हैं, तो दे वांट लाइक of my way or the highway kind of thing is going on. And with China, they are seeking a G2 understanding. But that does not mean that they do not want to counter China. दोनों चीजों में फर्क है. On one side, they want to compete with China, saying that it is not an existential threat. At the same time, they are in an AI race with China, and they want to contain China by doing chaos in Venezuela, disrupting its oil, going to Myanmar, disrupting in pipeline, going to Bangladesh, going to Pakistan. So this is America's containment policy.
So what we are seeing is that uh, America has made up its mind that either you are with us or you are against us. This is sort of this philosophy of having to take sides, basically seeing the country. आप साइड लो, अगर आप नहीं लोगे तो फिर आप जो हो हमारे एक दुश्मन हो, ठीक है। लेकिन सर एक हिसाब से आपको ये भी दिख रहा होगा ना कि कहीं न कहीं एक एक तरीके से इनको एक लाइक फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल दे डिडन्ट एक्सपेक्टेड इंडिया टू स्टैंड अप फॉर इटसेल्फ। इवन इवन यूरोपियन एज़ यू सेड अभी आपने बताया कि यूरोप ने अभी बोला है कि भई वो उनके डोमेस्टिक पॉलिटिक्स में इंटरफेयर ना करें बिल्कुल भी। देन यू आर आल्सो सीइंग कि ब्राज़ील इज़ कॉलिंग देम आउट। चाइना के पास दे फाउंड कि यार दे कंटेनमेंट हम जिस तरीके से चाह रहे थे करना वाया ट्रेड पॉलिसीज एंड वाया ट्रेड एंड इकोनॉमिक वॉर, वो कुछ हद तक जो है बहुत ज़्यादा सफल नहीं हो रहा है। और इस करके जो है ये एडजस्टमेंट जो ये G2 एडजस्टमेंट है, ग्रुप 2 एडजस्टमेंट जो है, जो इन्होंने अपने नेशनल सिक्योरिटी स्ट्रेटेजी में भी इन्होंने जो चीज़ बोली है, ये सर आपको क्या लगता है? बिकॉज़ ये बड़ा कन्फ्यूज़िंग सा मामला है सर। कल को अगर सपोज़ से दोनों के बीच में, चाइना और अमेरिका के बीच में अगर सपोज़ एक एक हिसाब से अंडरस्टैंडिंग बन जाती है कि ठीक है भई, वी आर G2, दिस इज़ योर एरिया एंड दिस इज़ माय एरिया, आई वोंट इंटरफेयर इन योर एरिया, यू वोंट इंटरफेयर इन माय एरिया, देन सो फॉर अदर कंट्रीज़ दैट विल बिकम वेरी डिफिकल्ट, देन दे रियली हैज़ टू पिक अप साइड्स, देन
Correct.
कट्स
Correct. करेक्ट. एंड यू वुड रिमेंबर हम लोगों ने अपनी किताब में न्यू ग्लोबल ऑर्डर में 2016 में लिखा था कि कोल्ड वॉर 2.0 आ रही है, बाइपोलैरिटी आएगी.
जी, जी, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल,
यू
बिल्कुल सर। ये तो
रिमेंबर.
सर आप 2016 से बोल
2016 में मैंने लिखा था. 2017 में मैंने ये भी लिखा था जब ट्रम्प स्वान इन हुआ था. मैं कहा मंचूरियन कैंडिडेट है, गेट रेडी फॉर अ ग्लोबल रीसेट. एंड लाइक वो यही है कि वो 4 साल डिले हो गया क्योंकि बीच में कोविड आ गया, ट्रम्प चला गया, वो दोबारा आके इसने फिर शुरू कर दिया.
अच्छा, आपको लगता है कि ये जो पॉलिसी है ट्रम्प 2.0 में, ये आपको लग रहा है कि ये कंसिस्टेंट रहेगी? बिकॉज़ हमें दिख रहा है कि यूएस के जो डोमेस्टिक पॉलिटिक्स है, उसमें हम देख रहे हैं कि डेमोक्रेट्स काफ़ी आगे आ गए हैं। एक तरीके से जो है एक वेव आ रही है डेमोक्रेट्स की, जो अपकमिंग मिड मिड इलेक्शंस आने वाले हैं सर यूएसए में अगले साल, ठीक है, जो कि नवंबर में होंगे। तो how do you see it play out? Whether this will remain a consistent policy, and if suppose the Democrats come and the majority and they get the majority seats in the Congress and other houses, so do you think there could be a rollback of sort? क्योंकि हमने अभी ये सुना है कि 25% जो टैरिफ इंडिया पे लगा है, एडिशनल जो 25% लगा है, वो कम करने की भी सर एक बात हो रही है। और और जो कांग्रेशनल हियरिंग भी हो रही है, उसमें एक तरीके से जो काफ़ी सारे जो मेंबर्स हैं, वो बोल रहे हैं कि भई आप जो है इंडिया के साथ जो आप कर रहे हैं, आप गलत कर रहे हैं, आई मीन दिस इज़ नॉट समथिंग व्हिच इज़ गुड फॉर यूएसए। तो हाउ डू यू सी इट्स अ प्ले आउट इन फ्यूचर?
यार मैं इतना ही आई वुड वांट टू से दिस मच दैट all these congressional hearings and these resolutions to terminate India's tariff is a very good strategy.
हुँ,
This puts pressure on the White House, number one. This puts the issue in the limelight. The Donald Trump is again ill-treating India. The fact that these things have to be done once again after April, August, shows that things have not gone well between the two sides on trade negotiations. And Donald Trump is now putting unreasonable demands on India, which cannot be met. He doesn't understand the political reality of
राइट,
India's economy and and the capital which the prime minister has. Probably they misjudged. They thought that the prime minister will buckle under, or they will, they might lose a state election or two, and they succumb to the American tactics. But that hasn't happened, yet so far. So these steps, no doubt, they are good for optics. They are good for strategy. But the problem is that the White House doesn't listen to anyone. And Donald Trump is like that raging bull in the China shop. Okay? Who will not hear you. If you rub him if you have rubbed him the wrong way intentionally or unintentionally, he is going to go after you. And I think he has made India the bunny of his anger. And probably his anger not stems from India not buckling under. And therein lies the problem. If he buckles to India and 25% tariff are rolled back when Russian oil is still being imported, the whole American, White House will be laughed at. Okay. Number two,
Right.
number two, number two, if he doesn't buckles, right? Obviously, Prime Minister Modi cannot buckle. If he doesn't buckle, then he loses the strategic partnership. Then also he's being castigated. So he's trapped. He's become a victim of his own strategy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what is piling on to his frustration is that if he buckles further, it will set a precedent with other countries will also say, "Arey, why do we need to negotiate trade deal with America? If he can stand firm and Trump is about to buckle before us." The problem between other countries and the problem between like China or a Vietnam or an India, okay, why Japan, South Korea, China chose to negotiate and talk, and India who negotiated and did not bend or has not bent so far, because the Chinese, for example, have 30% of the goods and factor of production goes to USA and Europe, which make up to be, like 30% of their exports go over there. So if the Americans or the Europeans sanction the Chinese goods out or put an embargo or a tariff, the Chinese factory would come to a halt. And they cannot afford that because they are an export driven economy. They are not a consumption driven economy. And India,
Precisely.
unlike them, is a consumption driven economy. We have food security, military, defense, nuclear, pharma. We grow, we eat, we make, we consume. And we don't. And by the way, our manufacturing is what? It is a very limited sphere of electronics, of smartphones. But in smartphones also it is mainly Apple, which is taken off. So Donald Trump has no option but to give exemption to Apple because it is one of the American giants, which will suffer. Because China, they don't want. Overnight factories cannot be put in America. Robots are not ready, whatever Latnik may say. But the point over here is that all this pressure, what we are putting, or what is being put rather, through various congressmen, through these resolutions, through these congressional hearings of grilling the USTR of what is happening. This is good. But is the White House in a mood to listen? If not, then we might have to wait out till the midterms in 2026. Because that is when Donald Trump is likely to lose the House. As we saw yesterday in the Democrats are about to win the House. And if they win the House, they can impeach the president third time. No agenda of Donald Trump will pass without the Democrats. So the point over here is that we need to wait it out. We need to tire him out. And our bureaucracy is fabulous at it. Good.
In that sense, absolutely. If they sort of prepare their mind, then of course nobody can bend them. आपको क्या लगता है सर कि जो हमने ये जो एक रेलॉस एग्रीमेंट जो हमने साइन किया है, जहाँ पे रशियन प्रेसिडेंट व्लादिमीर पुतिन आए इंडिया में और काफ़ी एक बोलते हैं ना उनको एक बहुत ज़बरदस्त रिसेप्शन दिया गया इंडिया की तरफ से और उसमें एक मैसेजिंग भी थी वेस्ट को स्पेशली अमेरिका को कि देखो कि हम किसी के साथ भी बैठ सकते हैं यू नो वी वॉन्ट वी यू आर नो वन टू टेल अस वेयर वी हैव टू फॉल बैक और वेयर वी डू नॉट हैव टू फॉल बैक राइट सो हमने रशिया को बुलाया और हमने एक रेलॉस एग्रीमेंट साइन किया उनके साथ उस रेलॉस एग्रीमेंट में बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, लेकिन जो चीज़ निकल के आई है, वो ये निकल के आई है कि भाई जो रशियन नेवी है, जो रशियन आर्म फोर्सेस है, जो उनकी लॉजिस्टिक्स है, वो अब इंडियन ओशन में एंड प्लस इंडिया में डिप्लॉय हो सकते हैं। प्लस इंडियन मिलिट्री एसेट्स, इंडियन नेवी शिप्स कैन गो टू द आर्टिक। सर, ये जो चीज़ हुई है, कैन यू एक्सप्लेन द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ दिस थिंग? मुझे लगता है इसे, क्योंकि हमने एक जो है ना एक एक वी हैव एक्चुअली गिवन, हमने एक मुक्का मारा है सर, हमने अमेरिकन जो जो एक कंटेनमेंट आर्क वो बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं इंडिया के खिलाफ, हमने उसमें एक बहुत जबरदस्त तरीके से बोलते हैं ना, एक 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 उसके उसके बीच में हमने एक
जी,
बहुत बड़ा स्पैनर डाल दिया है,
छेद कर
छेद
छेद
कर
कर
दिया है
दिया।
उसमें। ठीक है? तो ये रेलॉस एक बार सर आप ऑडियंस को सब समझाएँगे कि हमने ये क्या किया और ये इतना सिग्निफिकेंस क्यों है?
ओके। ये चीज़ ना बहुत सारे लोग मिस कर गए हैं। बहुत सारे एक्सपर्ट्स हैव अंडरप्लेड इट। आई रिमेंबर आई वाज़ द फर्स्ट वन टू हाइलाइट इट कि हाउ सिग्निफिकेंट दिस इज़ एंड देन पीपल कॉट ऑन एंड wrote threads about it. Relos is what? Reciprocal exchange of logistics of supply agreement. I guess ये Relos, right? Okay. Now this is the military cum defense agreement which has been signed between Russia and India. Or this is equal to what we signed with Limua with America, or logistic agreement with France, which we have, or a logistic agreement with Australia, or Japan, or even UK. Now India is a naval power because we have a good navy, we have a big blue navy. We have a we have a huge coastline,
ट्रू।
and we have to man the water to the Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and Indian Ocean.
And so we deploy our ships to the Middle East as well, to
Correct, correct.
Mediterranean.
To in the anti-piracy operation
Yeah,
about the coast of Yemen and Bab al Mandeb Strait in the Red Sea.
right.
Somalia के पास, correct, pirates के खिलाफ.
जी, जी, जी।
So we have signed this agreement. Now this is nothing but a mutual defense military pact where both the countries can, as you described, we can send our forces, we can for 5 years, 3,000 troops, 10 aircrafts, and then we can also send up, five vessels, dock for dock on the ports. Even the vessels can dock on the ports. Now this is very interesting because this means the Russians can send their forces on Indian bases. India can send their forces on Russian bases. Russian nuclear submarines or warships can dock on Indian ports in Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and so much so that we can even host Tupolev 160 strategic bombers, Tu-160 strategic long-range bombers on our bases on wet lease in case we wish to. Russia offers us that. Whether we do it or not is a second question, but we can also handle that. Now, why this is so important? Because the whole policy of the Anglo-American establishment since 1870s or 1880s have been to limit Russia's access to warm water. Imperial Russia, that later Soviet Union, from Persia to the Anglo-Afghan War to the Pamir conflict near the current Tajikistan Afghanistan border, which is why the Durand Line was formed. That was to keep the Russian Empire away from the British India. The same policy continued post-independence when we had, which is why Pakistan was created as part of the Great Game to be a buffer state between Soviet Union and India, because they did not trust Mr. Nehru to, be to align with the imperialists because the whole ideology of the independence movement was an anti-imperialist movement for freedom. So which is why they created Pakistan, they co-opted Muslim League to do this, right? Now, so now this, yes. So now we have, so now we had this, what you say, these,
Yes,
uh, yeah. So we have this kind of, the strategy which the British adopted. Then they created, they handed over Gilgit-Baltistan to Pakistan occupied as part of Pakistan occupied Kashmir by subterfuge. to make sure that they have the listening post and the basis to oversee Soviet nuclear program. U-2 flights were operated by America. What British left, America continued with the same policy. Now, be it the invasions of the coups in Middle East, from Iran to Iraq to Saddam, taking down of Saddam to Assad to Libya to Sudan. What are they? The primary aim there is to finish off the old Soviet regime, what Colonel Ralph Peter also talked about when he went to Pentagon after 9/11. Very famous video that is there on the YouTube. You can read about it. You can watch it.
Sure.
And then, yeah, and then they want to deny. And what is Ukraine all about? It is also about it should, but not giving Russia access to its Sevastopol, Sevastopol port in Crimea, which is what the warm water ports. And even there, even in the Black Sea, when Russia has to enter into Mediterranean, or they have to go down, they have to cross through Bosphorus and the Bosphorus Strait, and the Bosphorus Strait is controlled by Turkey, which happens to be another NATO member.
Yeah.
So everywhere they want to control the access of the Russian or the Soviet powers coming down. Same for China. From BRI, going into Pakistan, messing out the BRI, going into trying to do a regime change, and rip apart their 25-year agreement with China, what they have signed, which is why they are hostile against Iran, because Iran has signed defense agreement with Russia, and Iran has signed strategic partnership with BRI, hosting BRI of China, which goes against their interest. But which is why they are going into Myanmar, why Bangladesh, the Rakhine state. Why? Because they want to disrupt those Chinese pipeline and straits. Why are they docking ships in Sri Lanka? Because they want to have a vantage view over Malacca states.
यस सर। और सर बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग तरीके से आप देख रहे हो कि
So no, and I need to come with this point. Okay.
ओके
And then you see, they want to stop it. But what India has done, India has technically allowed Russia and given access to Indian Ocean, to Bay of Bengal, the whole Persian Gulf into Arabia, as well as the Arabian Sea and the Persian Gulf access they diya apni western coast se. Down south you have given Iowa region, and on the eastern flank you have given Bay of Bengal region. Imagine you are into a conflict, and a Russian warship quietly comes and docks in Mumbai. How big a message that is. And even though it may be a symbolic gesture, but that is good enough gesture to deter a conflict. And this is spoiling the Anglo-American, what they've been trying to do to put these powers out in one stroke. India has given Russia that access which they desired, unfettered access. And India is or Iran or Libya or Sudan, where they can do a regime change so easily. It's a nuclear power. And world's fifth largest economy, soon going to be the third largest economy. So they cannot mess around, which is why this is a very strategic. And then we get access to their tackling and their Arctic gas space, oil is the mineral resource rich Siberian region, which is again, because what is Donald Trump looking for in Greenland? Arctic waters, access, hydrocarbons. So if India gets that access to Russia, it is, and Russia gets the Iowa region, Indian Ocean region. It's a fabulous deal. You hedge against China, you hedge against America with one shot.
true that
And the whole plan to use Pakistan as a proxy can be foiled. That is a benefit of it. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
True that, sir, and I absolutely agree with you on this. This has been I think that this came as sort of a surprise to the world itself, that something that sort of will happen between Russia and India. And surprisingly हमने देखा है सर कि इसमें ना ये लोग इंडियन रीजन में हम उसको डिप्लॉय कर सकते हैं, बट उसके अलावा सर सुखोई 57 को लेके बाकी जो वेपनरी जो थे जैसे S-500 S-400 को लेके जो चल रहा था, उस पे सर दोनों सरकारों ने एक स्ट्रेटेजिक साइलेंसर बना के रखा हुआ है। इस पे सर आपका सर I just need your viewpoint on this thing, why this strategic silence? Are they again sort of, is it out of fear? or is it some kind of a strategy which both the nations have sort of mutually agreed कि नहीं भाई हम नहीं बताएंगे किसी को कि हम एग्जैक्टली कर क्या रहे हैं पर्दे के पीछे.
It is part of a strategy that we are not going to disclose what defense agreement we are going to sign. Because one, you have to understand, India is at a very critical juncture where it has invited European Union for Republic Day parade as chief guest, Ursula and company. We are soon going to sign an FTA, right, with them. And for India, EU FTA means a lot because we have 50% tariff from America, like Sogat America, America ki mili hui hum logo ko. So we cannot allow that. And which is why, one, we are at a very sensitive stage of talk with USA. The trade negotiations are on. With EU, we have the almost finalization of FTA is almost done deal. We have an FTA coming with Oman in next couple of days. We have an FTA negotiation with the Eurasian Economic Union. So we are at the cusp of a lot of geopolitical churn and geo-economic agreements which are about to be signed. Trade agreements. So we would not want to mess around with that. At the same time, does that mean our relationship with Russia has gone down? No. Does that mean that India is unlikely to upgrade Sukhoi? No, we'll upgrade Sukhoi. We'll get more X400. Rather, my sources say that have more X400 are likely to be, have probably been ordered. And some to protect, very famous industrial locations and critical strategic assets like Jamnagar refinery and other one refinery in Bikaner, and then there are other other important installations which the government wants to protect, including Delhi NCR as the capital and industrial hub. So you have all these situations, you have all these defense deals taking place in the shadows, but it will not be disclosed because you need not drumbeat everything to tell the world. It can be done privately.
But
And many times these negotiations take time. So I would trust the process, and I would trust the government. And to the lesser, I would say, like so many people would say, oh, under the US pressure, you will not. No, had it been under US pressure, the trade deal would have been done, and Donald Trump would have responded on Truth Social, and the delegation would not have gone back, so chiseled and saying to the corporates, what are you doing? Do America first. That itself goes to show that the trade negotiations have again hit a stalemate.
as you said, their trade delegation has already accepted during the congressional hearing that saying that India is a tough nut to crack. So of course they are irritated. They are sort of getting these people are not accepting it, and sort of in the global hierarchy they sort of maybe yet not realizing the fact that India is a continent level size of a power. So expecting India to मतलब हम नीचे हो जाएँगे और हम एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे, हाँ जी, हुज़ूर जी आ जाइए, आप जो दे रहे हैं हम वो ले लेंगे और हम इसको मान लेंगे। आई थिंक ये करना ही सर बहुत ही बड़ी बेवकूफ़ी लग रही है अमेरिका की तरफ से। और इसका जो सर डैमेज होगा, आई थिंक इसका सर मुझे लगता है कि डैमेज बहुत ज़्यादा होगा सर अमेरिका को आने वाले समय में।
We should have this part of Indo-US relationship जो पिछले 8 महीनों में चला है. This has to be part of history books,
राइट।
and this must be taught that how hegemons were schooled,
हुँ,
how they were told that the emperor is naked. It doesn't have those tools now to dictate.
या
Someone had to tell, there's famous story, where the king do not have the guts to tell that the emperor is naked, but a small child comes along and says, look, you are naked. And that is what India is doing to America.
यस। दैट्स आई
That
थिंक
that the,
दे
that the empire is almost cooked. Financially, it is rotten from inside. It is hollow.
Right, sir. Right, right. We can see in the markets, what is happening. But I'll come to that point later on. Maybe during I'll close the podcast, while discussing the economy, the geoeconomics. But before that, sir, I want to understand कि अमेरिका कुछ एक्शंस ले रहा है सर हर जगह पे। मिलिट्री एक्शन सर दिख रहे हैं बेसिकली आपको। ठीक है? आपको दिख रहा है कि वेस्टर्न हेमिस्फीयर में जो वेनेज़ुएला है, ठीक है? उनके अगेंस्ट बहुत दिनों से चल रहा है कि नहीं एक एक लैंड अटैक होगा, अमेरिकन इन्वेजन होगा वेनेज़ुएला में और जो मादुरो है उनके जो प्रेसिडेंट हैं, निकोलस मादुरो, उनको हटाने का एक प्लान है। ठीक है? वो एक वेनेज़ुएला सिक्योर करना चाहते हैं क्योंकि उनके पास ऑयल एसेट्स हैं ऑलरेडी एंड दे हैव अ गुड ऑयल एसेट्स बेसिकली। फिर से हम देख रहे हैं कि सर अभी सर कल कल परसों की सर न्यूज़ है कि जहाँ पे उन्होंने इंडियन ओशन रीजन में सर जो 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 शिप अ, ईरान और चाइना के लिए जा रही थी, ठीक है? उसको इन्होंने जो है रोक दिया। फिर हमने देखा कि ईरान ने एक वेसल को रोका है जो यूएस की तरफ जा रहा था या जो यूरोप की तरफ जा रहा था। ठीक है? हम देख रहे हैं कि जो हूदीज़ हैं जहाँ पे बैठे हैं, ठीक है? वो भी एक तरीके से वेसल्स को रोक रहे हैं। तो सर ये जो चीज़ चल रही है अमेरिका सडनली इट इज़ बिकम हैज़ बिकम वेरी अग्रेसिव मिलिट्री वाइज़ आल्सो जो और ये बड़ा मतलब शॉकिंग सा है क्योंकि ये बोल रहे थे कि भई हमें जो है ये चीज़ें नहीं करनी है। अब हमें अपने डोमेस्टिक अफेयर्स पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देना है और हम जो है आउटर मिलिट्री जो चीज़ें हैं वो हम नहीं करेंगे। बट स्टिल दे आर डूइंग इट। अ, तो
बिकॉज़ हाँ जी।
और एक G2 अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी है सर, ये G2 अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ठीक है? तो ये जो मतलब जो चीज़ है, ये अल्टीमेटली सर किस तरफ इशारा कर रही है सर? ये क्या हो रहा है?
तो जैसे लाइक इट्स ऑल chaos all around. Like we see, America, wanting a regime change in, trying to depose Maduro in Venezuela. And the opposition leader happens to be the tool of the American foreign policy, and a lady who has actually, been given Nobel Peace Prize this year. And why is this happening in Venezuela? We need to understand that. And the point over here is, that Venezuela has very good ties with China, because Venezuela has the largest oil reserve, and China's 8% oil and Venezuela's 90% oil, goes to China, and China's 8% oil comes from there. So it is about disrupting the energy supply lines of China, because for all said and done, if you have to run data centers, you have to compete in the AI race. It is all about energy. It is all about infrastructure. It is all about coal, oil, gas, nuclear power. So it is all about disrupting those supply lines. At the same time, the U.S. shale oil production has virtually plateaued, and as per IEA, which is the energy agency, it's the shale production will decline, rather not start declining till 2030. So the US need to find new reserves of oil. And apart from securing their Middle Eastern ally from Saudi Arabia to UAE to Iraq, all those players, they also need to get Venezuela on their side. So and plus we must not forget that all these Chevron, ExxonMobil, Halliburton, these Texan and oil companies or oil magnates, they were the ones who have massively funded Donald Trump. The fossil lobby has funded Donald Trump badly, which is why he's resigned all those EV mandates, renewable mandates, and everything. And now they want to mint that profit out of Venezuela. It is all about resources. It is all about business. Same thing in Argentina. In Argentina, why did they provide those Bessin provided those swap lines? If you would remember that, because uh, they provided those swap lines because Argentina has a very huge shale gas reserve offshore. At the same time, you have those Colombia, you have Ecuador, you have Peru, which have huge lithium reserve, which is called the white gold, which are used for batteries, which are used for automobiles, which are used for semiconductors, which are used for so many other processes, industrial processes. So the America wants to dominate it, and which is why we're seeing the America using its military, sending its aircraft carriers, sending its reconnaissance mission, you know, striking drug flotillas. Now, what they call it are they are not drug flotillas. Actually, they're not after drug. Like they were not after WMDs in Iraq. That was a false flag. This is also a false flag. They are not after drugs in Venezuela. What they
Correct.
are after is to scuttle the Chinese or the Russian access to Venezuela, would push them out of the the southwestern hemisphere of the Americas, and then dominate the resource, the supply chain of critical minerals, oil, and other hydrocarbons. That is the basic plot. And the same plot extends to the Middle East to stop Russia and China from coming to the Persian Gulf. Assad, you topple Assad, you topple Hezbollah, you target Houthi, you destroy the Shia crescent, you want to do a regime change in Iran, you want to enter Pakistan and stop Gwadar, you want to enter into Myanmar and stop these things. So all these conflicts which have been ignited, and the conflict in Ukraine is a classic example. Who sabotaged Nord Stream? They were done by the Ukrainians on the behalf of the Americans. For what? So that the American LNG and gas could be shipped to the Europeans and they could dominate the energy market. Why are they upset with India taking over refining of oil? Because India was refining the Russian oil at a discount and sending it to Europe. So Europe was getting less dependent upon America. It was able to hedge itself. They don't like that. Why are the Europeans hedging? Which is why they want the European Union destroyed. How dare the European states act sovereignly? If they are individual states, then they will all want to come to the big daddy in Washington for protection under NATO. But if they are as a together as a bloc as a EU in a major economy and probably a military in the future at any point of time, they will have that strategic heft to bargain with America, which America does not like. Oh, no, we beat you with the Marshall Plan post World War II. We were the ones who funded your rise out of the collapse of the communist regime in Soviet Union in post 1990 after unification of Germany and all those liberated provinces stroke countries of Eastern Europe. And now you are a collectively part of Europe, and then European Union ends up finding Google, and then they also end up finding Elon Musk X for non-compliance under their digital rules of GDPR.
Right.
This lets, and which is why Elon Musk went crazy. The European Union must be destroyed. Ursula must be removed. So we see this. Anyone who acts contrary to the American interest, American corporate interests, oil lobby, via the European auto or digital rules or Starmer in UK, who is a bit, left liberal kind of a guy after the Labour Party.
Yeah.
These people on the issues of demography, London is falling. You see those racist comments which come from Tucker Carlson to that chap Nick Swinton.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're a weird guy.
Weird guy. So you see all this guy and Piers Morgan, took them down in a very good fashion. Though I'm not supporter by neither paying neither the American right or the American left or the British right or left. I'm only concerned with India. But my point over here is that they are unhappy with the pushback they're getting in the European Union. With Ursula saying, you don't meddle into European democracy.
ये आपको नहीं लगता सर कि ये जो सिचुएशन उन्होंने क्रिएट कर रहे हैं ये वर्ल्ड वाइड, ठीक है, कि जहाँ पे भी लोग इनको थोड़ा-सा इफ दे गिव बैक टू देम, दे सॉर्ट ऑफ बिकम वेरी एजिटेटेड एंड स्टार्ट hyperventilating. So, don't you think that this will actually affect the American US foreign policy itself, or let's say the American order itself, which they themselves have painstakingly created post the World War II, and now there is a possibility that countries may look to China. For example, Tesla's sale in Europe is on all-time low. The Chinese EV manufacturers are gaining at the expense of Tesla. So ultimately, the corporate interests are ultimately getting affected by them acting like a bully to other countries. And in fact, India, which is providing the American corporates, with the talent, the skills, and all everything, and we are providing them the land, and yet they are acting against us, saying that no, this won't go to India. You have so America first, America first. So this This sort of things, I mean, I just want you to explore on this more, and the military actions, which they are taking, apart from the Americas and the other parts of the world, and to link it, sir, ये मतलब ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है सर, ये बिल्कुल भी. This looks like an unplanned horror show actually for the world.
Well said, well said, well said. So, like if you give me time now, I'll explain to you. I'll quickly, knit the whole thing up. Now, this is related to geoeconomics, what you're asking. Okay. And that obviously directly flow on what happening in US, the industrialization and reshoring into natural resources, rare earth flows into gold, silver, currency. Everything is interlinked. Okay. Okay. Now let me, decipher it for your audience. See, the issue is that Americans have built an empire, especially after 19, let me, quickly run through it. After World War II, Marshall Plan was launched to rebuild Europe. Then they launched Bretton Woods systems. They linked dollar to uh, gold. Dollar was convertible into gold, $1 with the gold. America had 18,000 tons of gold. The France and the NATO and every country wanted to, Charles de Gaulle, they at one point of time, they always started asking for gold. And then American gold plummeted to 6,000 tons. And that led to President Nixon doing in 1971, the Nixon shock, which is called, that he depegged the dollar and they put the dollar, put the dollar in a free floating loop along with the US Treasury. And then they also did the petrodollar agreement subsequently with Saudi Arabia that, that all the money or the profits, the oil which will be sold in dollar will be reinvested into US treasury. So ever since that, US has been running on a model of an old model, outdated model. That model is that US will run trade deficits. Countries across the board will make, provide cheap products, provide cheap services, provide cheap commodities, oil, uranium, fuel, nuclear, whatever. Products like China, Germany in auto, services like India in IT. Okay. They will continue to provide, they will run surpluses. Those surpluses will get reinvested into American bonds or US treasuries. That will keep the interest rate low. Okay. Yields down. And that will allow super cheap liquidity to flow into the American system, which America can use to financialize its empire, grow its corporations, deploy that capital for all the research and development or innovation, what they want to do, the mega corporations, stock market, or whatever they want to do. It's none of our business, right? But this system has run broke because this system, when you start running trade deficits, the cost of domestic factor of production becomes very expensive at home in America. And that is where the factories and the industries of the manufacturing starts to shift. In the 70s, it was German auto industry. In the 80s, it was Japan, electronics and semiconductors. In the 90s, it was China. From 90s till 2013, 14, it was China. And since 2015, it has been Vietnam and India and this country who have taken bulk of their, they think have taken the bulk of their manufacturing.
Yeah.
So wave after wave after wave, US has got deindustrialized and demanufactured. Now this is the dilemma, the problem which the US is going to face. Because these trade deficits are very essential to fund to keep the dollar low, the treasury bond market moving, to keep the ultra interest low. So let's say US wants to reindustrialize itself, reshore as Lutnick and company and Besant wanted. For that, for that reindustrialization, you would want capital first, low cost capital. You would want material for it, logistics for it. You want steel, you want iron, you want plants. You you will have to set up concrete plants. You will have to set up power grids. You will have to need copper. You need silver for industrial usage. You need so many other ancillary systems, good transportation system, good logistics systems, because you haven't built the base is empty for last 30, 40 years. Nothing has been built. You had outsourced everything outside. That was a Tiffin's dilemma which was playing out. And now you have an American administration or a policy change, huge policy change with America first. They say, okay, we'll build everything in America. Mostly, specifically the industry and the manufacturing, the high-end industrial manufacturing, semiconductors, pharma, and steel, auto. This will build in America first. Great. But then now there is a race for AI and data centers, which they want to build. Unfortunately, they require capex for that. Now, by doing tariffs, they say, but their biggest unfortunate point over here, before I come to tariffs, is that unlike before, like they want to inflate its way out of debt. This is what Donald Trump and Besant have said. Keep the rates low. Let the Fed suppress the yield curve or control the yield curve. That means the interest rates will drop around 1%, what Mr. Trump is now asking for, while the inflation will be 3%. Wow. So if inflation is 3.5%, 4%, it is currently at 2.8, 2.9. And if goes up because you are putting more liquidity into the market,
Yeah.
by cutting rates, and then you constantly keep the rates down, the the people who are the US Treasury bond are the ultimate losers because they're not getting any interest in the bond on the
Correct.
long end of the curve.
Correct.
So what they will do is they will dump your treasuries and then they will move into other safe assets
Yeah.
where they can get a better return. Now equity, then we know at the same time. So now there's a likelihood that the rate may spike because people who might want to switch away from the US dollar and go into gold, go into silver,
Yeah.
assets, go
Good
into
prices are rising.
copper, commodities which are required for as industrial building blocks of any manufacturing cycle.
Right.
There will be a runaway inflation. Whenever inflation comes, the commodities rise. That means commodities are rising, means inflation is on the rise and it is coming. And a runaway inflation is coming. And when a runaway inflation comes, so all the valuation which you have hyped to circular finance of Nvidia into OpenAI into Nvidia into Microsoft into Nvidia, this kind of bubble which you have built, which even people like Ray Dalio are now admitting that it's a bubble to a certain extent, 80%, and the valuations are super high. We are not doubting the productivity gain. Data in future at this point, we don't know how much productivity will come in US. Some data centers plans are already getting shut because there is no power grid, there is no infrastructure. Those land parcels are being cancelled in Texas and Arizona. And why it is happening? Because you don't have the power grid. So if you have to build the power grid, you need massive infrastructure. And then you are asking the bond buyers, countries like countries in Japan, countries in South Korea, countries in Europe, oh please invest $500 million into the real physical assets. So if you start investing in real physical assets for factories and construction, who will buy the bonds?
Correct. Correct.
So 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 the point over here is that if no one is going to, so US has a very, very stark choice. Either it can choose to save the bond and the dollar, or it can reindustrialize and fight the race in AI. If you have to fight the AI race with China, you will have to build that infrastructure. I saw the data that China has capacity of America plus of 2 American grids to combine together. They built that industrial capacity because they did not swindle money into bonds. They did not swindle money into stock markets or into
Right.
speculative assets like crypto.
Crypto.
They
Yeah.
went for they went for the hard assets. They
And
created
they're,
the supply
and
chain.
they're, and they're good in commodities as well. Russia is a
True,
commodity player
true,
in the
true,
world.
true, true. So you see a dichotomy play out. where the Americans will have to decide, oh, do we give up dollar in the bond market, which will collapse because which are ultimately going to collapse because you are now trying to hyperinflate and suppress the interest rate. People will lose trust in you. And people will move to other safe assets. Unfortunately, your equity market is equally bad. It is hyperinflated due to the circular finance model of AI bubble. And you don't have those power grids to to give you their productivity gains.
Right? The energy which AI data centers actually demand.
Correct, exactly. Now, a company like OpenAI with a revenue of $16 billion is asking for a capex of 1.5 to $1 trillion daily.
Right.
And and then some argument says, oh, we may need a government or a federal backstop. Why? Are you expecting a bailout? And that bailout will cost American taxpayer trillion whenever this bubble pop, and it will pop very soon. Within the hopefully by the end of this decade.
Which means that they are preparing for a huge crash in the market, and they're preparing a ground for that. And so, interestingly, I don't understand. You want an energy, right? And it cannot come up with it cannot come from the non-renewable energy sources. Yet, USA under Trump administration has renegated on the COPS, renegated on the renewable energy sources. They're canceling projects left, right, center in USA. So it looks like it looks like the people who are governing USA now are running like headless chickens, not understanding which direction to go.
More than that, they're trapped because they have a debt to GDP of 120%. They have a deficit of 7%. And if they have to inflate their debt away, they need runaway inflation. And a runaway inflation means sooner or later the Fed will have to hike a rate. And whenever the Fed, and whenever the next, whenever the next like tightening begins, maybe you're in the half down the lane, maybe in 2026 and 2027. But because 1% interest rate, that will go, the world will go crazy. And what will that lead to? A bubble bust.
Yes.
And more than a bubble bust, along with the bubble bust, you will also lead to a disruption in the treasury market. And I think the US is now willing to forego the treasury and the dollar status because it knows the dollar as a reserve currency has hurt its industrial progress. And US not recognizing this threat. If you read Nvidia's chief, yeah, uh, interview, he says China is just milliseconds away behind us in artificial intelligence. Be the energy infrastructure, be the data centers, they are very close to us. Only in the semiconductor chip do we lead them by 2 years, but even there they are sprinting faster. In computing they are behind, but they're also they're catching. Why do you think they want to come to India? The big tech is announcing those investments in India data center because the big tech know that to get the best computing, the best model, they need diverse data sets, and no one can provide a better data set than India. And plus, if they announce those capex, oh look, we have $50 billion they have a plan in India, 30 billion plan in India, because you don't have the power to take it back home. You need the AI capex to continue to flow. Because if the AI capex does not flow, even if they cut the AI capex by 10%, that will reduce the US GDP by 1%.
Oh,
And if it goes to, if they cut the AI GDP, which has constituted nearly 90% of the growth which has come up in 2025, how lopsided this rally has been in USA, this will lead to a recession.
and so I'm hearing that this recession could be worse or could be equivalent to the
No,
Great Depression,
no.
which came in
Correct.
1930.
I don't know what the Great Depression thing that would be, that is something once in a century kind of an event. But this is going to be far worse than 2008 for sure. 2008, you had bailout of billions. This bailout trillions. A lot of these IT, some of these IT giants which will be bailed out, you will have certain small banks which will also go in because it is those banks which are funding the schemes. or funding these, because now not only find, dipping deep into the cash flow, but they are also taking on debt for expansion. Leverage. $121 billion of bonds have been issued previously by Amazon, Meta combined together for AI project and data center. So the problem America faces, bhai, is, does it forego dollar and the bond market for a bigger thing? And which brings me to the next question or the next issue connected to it. That is gold and silver.
Yeah,
But
suddenly
why
there
does
is a rally. Suddenly there is a rally in the market. Gold and silver is rising, and in fact, silver is actually crossing gold itself when it comes to the prices. So, what is the crux of it? Why it's happening? Are the investors moving away from the markets and going towards gold, or is there some other play which is happening in the world? Uh,
okay. See, you have to understand something. The largest importers of gold over last few years have been the central banks of Russia, India, and China. Okay. Then there are other central banks in the world, like Turkey is also importing gold. Indonesia was also importing gold. And the trigger for this was the 2022 Russian freezing of assets. A similar idiotic move has been done by European Union.
yes,
Yes, 2 days back, yesterday, where they overruled their consensus legal concept, overruled the objection of Hungary as a country, and are about to collateralize the Russian assets so frozen as part of reparations for Ukraine's rebuilding efforts on December 18th. And that means that if tomorrow Ukraine does not need to pay back this money to European Union or the Euroclear or ECB till the time Russia pays up for reparations for the destruction caused in Ukraine. This is exactly how it was imposed on Germany in late 2020s and 30s, if you would remember. The reparations were imposed on Germany at that time, after World War One.
correct. That became a trigger point of Germany going towards Nazi.
Correct. Okay, now the Russians are threatening, these are going to be direct consequences. To send, just like the Americans freeze the Russian reserve, the Europeans are trying to now liquidate the frozen Russian assets. And this is going to lead to Russia already sued Euroclear into international arbitration. And after Cold War Treaty, they are going to suffer penalties. So this is going to be another risk of event, big event. And this means that the trust in the dollar system, the US dollar, the euro dollar, the American government, the European Central Bank is now breaking.
Yes, precisely, sir.
Precisely.
Just unilateral decisions affecting the economies.
The global governance rules are broken, which mean the investors, which were earlier used to, when the stock market used to sell off, they used to buy US treasuries, safe. Or they used to buy bonds in Europe, safe. They don't want to buy US treasury. They don't want to buy US bond. Rather, when the stock market sells off, the bonds are also collectively going up. Yields are also going up, which means the traditional understanding of the stock market in the bond has broken. And that means, why does it broken? Because the trust has broken after you have freeze those reserves. Those investors from the emerging market, from the developing world, from Russia, from China, from India, from Brazil, they don't want to invest in US or European assets, financial assets. They want to hedge themselves and they want to move towards gold, which is the best asset, which cannot be seized, which cannot be freezed. Physical raw assets, be it gold, be it silver, be it copper, those are real assets which exist on the market, not the fiat dollar or the fiat bond or the fiat euro
Or the crypto.
or the crypto. So you have these So now what is happening? So you are the first wave of central banks buying into gold. Okay. Now you have various other announcements which came up.
Yeah.
Russia announced that from January 2026, no export of gold.
Oh, yeah. They're squeezing the supply of the
Correct.
commodities.
Correct. China announced, who produces 15% of the world's silver and refining and mining, says no export of silver after 1st of January. Indonesia has stopped exporting all gold and oil. Sorry, gold and silver. No gold, no silver will go out of Indonesia. All exports stopped. At the same time, you have the Indian government, the Indian RBI saying that now you will use silver as collateral for loans. Huge step from 1st of April. Mean silver is now back in contention as a store of asset value in monetary policy, which it wasn't there. Gold was there, and silver was considered as an industrial metal used for semiconductor, for solar panels, and for batteries, and for other industrial purposes. But now it is also a store of monetary asset and value. Then yesterday, or 48 days hours, 48 hours back, the regulator in India, one of the biggest markets, allowed the pension funds of India to invest the 5% of their total AUM in asset under management
Asset under
to
management.
silver, to gold and silver ETFs in India.
Yes.
And the value and the total AUM of the pension fund in India is 34 lakh crores.
Wow.
Do you see the underlying demand for gold and silver being created in the RIC plus block or the BRICS block? The kind of investing from institutional buying to retail investing via ETF, the ETF asset under management for gold in India has gone up from 50,000 crores to 1 lakh crores. It's doubled.
Yeah.
The gold. And why this is happening? This is happening because people have lost trust in the US treasury market. They know the US system is broken. Their debt, their reshoring, their reindustrialization, and the kind of yield curve separation which are about to unleash now, the bond becomes unattractive. Why should I invest? It's a worthless paper. They can devalue, they can reduce the interest rate overnight, and the bond holders will be like, will be holding those worthless notes. Haven't seen their value go down. So we
Yeah.
need to understand it. We need to understand, and then you have the geopolitical conflicts of Russia, Ukraine. Then NATO chief saying, we are going into war with Russia. We must prepare for it. UK says, I am ready for it. Trump says, I'm going to withdraw out of NATO. Then you have the Venezuela. Then you have Iran. Then you have Thailand, Cambodia. Then you have India, Pakistan. So far, the ceasefire is still holding on, but you never know when it may ignite again. You have all these conflicts, and then the final thing you have is the Japan yen carry trade. Japan is about to raise the interest rate on 19th. The Bank of Japan is about to raise interest rate to the highest since 1994. 30 years.
Right. So in this, I have one question, and I just wanted to quickly, just just for 2 minutes, you have to divulge that.
Go ahead, go ahead.
What is happening on the Japanese side? They're raising their interest rates. What will be the effect of it on the world economy? Because again, Japan is a very big market, and historically they always had literally a negative interest rates, to zero interest rates, right? And now it is rising. It is going like it has risen more than 2% now, and they plan to keep it increasing by, I guess, 25 or 50 basis points, which the Central Bank of Japan is planning to do. So, how will it affect the Japanese economy and the world economy? Japan is one of the largest creditor in India also, in a lot of renewable energy projects, and other such kind of projects. Let's say they are invested in our bullet trains, in infrastructure as well. So Just for 2 minutes, sir. What were the implications of it? Of Japan raising their interest rates?
Okay. So now what you see is the yen carried trade since 1994 was the Japan kept interest rates at 0%. Investors take money from Japan, they invest in US security, get a better return, or US equities get a better return, or invest in emerging markets, get a better return, make profit, go back home and pay off. Okay. Now, what has happened is due to the Japanese economy, due to the trade war, Japan interest inflation has gone up, and to stop runaway inflation in Japan and to stop fueling another asset bubble like crash in Japan, they have to raise the interest rates. And if the interest rate starts to rise, so the hedge funds or people who borrow, who have sourced on excess liquidity from Japan to invest in US, Europe, emerging markets in India and other places, they will be forced to liquidate their positions.
Fine.
And if they start selling US bonds or emerging markets, you will see a crash, virtual crash coming. Why? If a bond, because if they start selling US bonds, the first direct effect will be that the bonds yield in US will shoot up. And by the way, Japan is the largest treasury holder for US, nearly nearly $2 trillion.
Yeah. Okay.
1 point something or $2 trillion. My memory way I can recollect. And that would mean US treasury, interest rates go up, the capital gets expensive, the all the projects, AI, the data center projects which they've announced, even they get expensive. The whole
Yeah.
system starts to, fall back again. The whole policy of Trump to cut interest rate, to put the financial repression gets delayed. So this is another kind of a black swan event or kind of that thing lurking in the background. But the point to watch is whether yen appreciates against dollar. Because moment the yen starts appreciating against the dollar and dollar starts to get devalued, that's a clear signal that a carry trade is
Okay.
means people are liquidating the position in bond, in cashing out and taking the money back to Japan to buy Japanese bonds and keep the interest rates low. Self survival.
Self-survival. Yeah, true that.
Correct. So you will have a catastrophic effect across the world because Japan has provided easy liquidity to the world in last
Yeah,
2 years.
precisely, sir.
Which is why, which brings me from the American bond, America's catch 22 situation of either reindustrialize and win the AI race with China or give up dollar or bond market, give up your dollar or and the trade, or run the trade deficit and do not reindustrialize. America will have to make a choice. Plus, yield curve control by the Fed and Fed virtually bowing down to the diktats of the Treasury. That is also eroding confidence into investors that they will lose out. Then you have these events like European Union trying to liquidate Russian frozen assets, right? Just like what the Americans did in 2022. Then you have the geopolitical conflicts of Iran, you have Venezuela, you have Thailand, Cambodia, you have Ukraine, you have India, Pakistan, Umairap, you have even Israel, Middle East, Gaza conflict, which is now settled, looks settled for now. It made up. Iran may, Israel may strike Lebanon, Israel may strike even,
So
even
they're already doing it. They're already
they're
doing
already
it.
doing it.
They're
Shit,
doing.
yeah.
They're doing. Don't strike. Still, they are.
You may never know a prospective conflict between, you may never understand when Israel may strike Iran again.
Again.
When that happens, and when that happens, it's again a geopolitical event. And then you have the trade deal with India in limbo. It is not happening. It is getting delayed, and there is back and forth between the two sides, and two sides have dug into their positions on non-trade.
Japan. Check Japan.
Japan,
Japan. Japan-China
Japan,
relations are going through some worst
correct,
state.
correct, correct. The the recent rift between the Japanese Prime Minister and China over Taiwan. And then you have shortage of supplies of the industrial commodities and metals, because you need those metals, you need those supplies you need copper to build data centers, power industry, you need silver to to build those semiconductors, build those solar panels. There's a shortage of supply. And then you have countries like India, the central banks, which is by the central banks and the investors across the world are diversifying from the treasury, US treasury, reducing their holding, putting gold and silver back into their, monetary asset. And this brings me to the one final thing which is happening, which is very interesting.
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
on the one side, you have BRICS, which have developed a payment settlement system which America cannot sanction between trade between the parties among the BRIC nations.
Yeah,
Now, like India is trading with Russia in rupee and ruble. China is trading with Brazil in yuan.
in yuan,
China is trading
Indonesia with yuan.
with Russia with yuan. India is
Yeah.
trading with UAE in dirhams. Okay,
Yes,
that,
yes.
that is also happening. So when you are, when you are trading in respective currencies and all this stuff, you bypass yourself out of the SWIFT net, out of the purview of the SWIFT network. America
Right,
cannot sanction that trade.
right.
And if you have that payment settlement system going, which the BRICS have developed, which is almost ready now, ready to be deployed, then you will have America will have no control over that trade and no ability to sanction it. Right? Over and above that, there is a prospective idea in the BRICS, or the concept note has been floated and is ready. I believe they are not officially declared that the bottom layer will be the payment settlement system. The middle layer will be the digital unit, a blockchain based currency unit, and to decide what would be the value of this, or the store of the value of this digital unit, a blockchain based digital currency among the BRIC block. It will be a basket of commodities, metals, and the ratio of currencies: silver, gold, copper, plus a basket of currencies of all the BRIC nations in a proportion. Now you understand why these countries are, you know, making the demand rise, taking into gold like huge, and then also putting, like what India did, put silver back onto the monetary basket,
Yeah.
making as a collateral and pension fund. So you now realize what is happening. It is not a it is just not a 1971 or a 1980. It is not even 2000, like the dot-com bubble bust. It is not even 2008. It is far bigger, because the trust has broken, the system is broken, the rules are broken.
Rules are broken, and surprisingly, the rules are being broken by the one who created the rule.
Correct. They
So that
broke the rules. They broke the rules. They thought that the powers in the East, India, China, and Russia would obey. That they have the mightiest of the US dollars which they will need. But they do not understand that every time they deploy that weapon, they lose the efficacy or the potential.
thank you so much for explaining the geoeconomics part in so detail. Our audience gonna love it, honestly speaking. But before we wind up this session, I just want a quick points on these sudden escalations which are happening. You see the Russian-Ukraine war has escalated. Okay, Russia has again gained some territory. They have moved past.
And they hit a Turkish ship, oil ship in
Yeah,
Odessa.
they've hit a Turkish oil ship. USA has detained a Chinese ship, the Iranian ship, which was, I think, going to China, or from it was coming from China, I guess. Then they are, and that too, it happened in our own backyard. It happened in Indian Ocean, sir. By the way, okay, so that's something which will ring an alarm bell in our intelligence security establishment. These kind of escalations, where this is getting directed towards, and should we be worried about it, or this is sort of a temporary thing, which is
See,
we
there are two perspectives. There are two things about it. One, as a geopolitical analyst, I would say the world is headed for disruption and bifurcation of supply chain. We will have two broader poles of America and China controlling supply chain, and then you will have a third pole or countries like Russia, countries like India, countries like Brazil, countries like Middle East, who would try to play both sides and get the best from each side. Hedge.
okay.
Yes?
Heck,
So that is where you will get multipolarity within bipolarity.
Hmm.
You will have major supply chains from two sides, the two powers. In between, you will have countries which will trade with this as well and trade with that as well. But of course, for this trade, you will have to make certain compromises with both, which which you, which you will see in the trade deals, you know, allowing visas, allowing FDI. All this you will see. Then you will see some compromises will happen. Maybe not full, but some will happen. What will happen? Only time will tell. Okay, I'm not going to be the judge on that. At the same time, you will see a lot of disruption on geostrategic point of view. Alliances are going to churn. Many countries are going to switch sides. So all this havoc which is going to be created, this was bound because the system, the monetary system, the rules which govern since 42, 45 are getting, demolished.
demolished.
And what was the second part you asked me about it? And sorry, the second part is, as this was me as a geopolitical analyst,
Yeah.
me as a citizen of India, it's my humble duty at this minute to back our government when we are in perilous times geopolitically and geoeconomically, under under threat from China and Pakistan on our borders,
Yeah.
facing a threat of jihadist non-violence from Pakistan and Bangladesh now. Also facing an economic and a trade war, economic sanction and trade war from the superpower in the world, that is America,
America.
our so-called strategic partner.
And now Mexico.
Now Mexico. We may have 100 complaints about our country. हमारे में garbage नहीं है, municipality नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, road नहीं है, skill नहीं है, education नहीं है. You may have complaints. Whatever your in-house complaints are, the family deals within itself. You don't call the outsiders to solve your disputes.
Right, sir. Precisely.
And that means that we must back the government, we must back the institution, we must trust the process of what they are doing to protect India's interest in trade, economy, geopolitics, geostrategic interest across the world, from America to China to Pakistan to Russia, from to Europe. We need to understand this mind that one is me as a countryman, I should know my foreign policy is hitting the right way. If my country is standing firm against the bullying of America on certain trade deal demand, that means my country is going in the right direction. And I need not worry. If I have my small issues, I can contact my MLA or MP and get it done. I did not even blame the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister for the geopolitical things. Or sorry, for my municipal things.
That is
part. Many people do it. No, नोएडा में कचरा बहुत ज्यादा है. क्या करें भाई? फिर आप प्रधानमंत्री आके तुम्हारा कचरा साफ करेगा नोएडा में. तुम कर लो, बुलाओ एमसीडी वालों को, जो 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 नोएडा की अथॉरिटी, उनको फोन करो. नोएडा पीएम देखेगा कि सीएम देखेगा? People don't have their heads checked. They will say रशियन ऑयल तो आ ही नहीं रहा थी, बिक गया मोदी. कहाँ बिक गया? रशियन ऑयल तो आ रहा 6 महीने के हाई पे तुम्हारा. अब बताइए आप पे क्लेम्स कहाँ गए? People, which is why I say people should subscribe to facts and logics and not to fiction and conspiracy theories.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. And I mean, this is something which is, ये हमने नहीं किया है. ये उनकी तरफ से हुआ है. जो एक्सप्लोर कर रहे थे.
And the third aspect which I want to put very interesting. Me as a geopolitical analyst, I analyze what is going to happen. We are in perilous times of conflict, trade wars. You're going to have all this siapa going on. That's the word in Punjabi.
Yeah,
Okay.
true that, sir.
And as a citizen, back your government. Understand, we are still doing well economically. Yes, we ought to do more. There are sections of economy which are suffering due to heavy tariffs. There are sections of the economy which need to function much better. We can do much better, but we are still doing much better compared to the rest of the world. Three, as an investor, I need to be very careful where I invest my money because we are in perilous times. I will not give any recommendation, but I will only tell those people, be very watchful of the scenarios which are building, the situations which are building, and decide accordingly. Save yourself, because what is coming now, it is not a 2008 mortgage subprime crash, kind of a problem, or a dot-com bubble, which will come once in a while and go. This is a monetary reset.
You said this. Basically your supply chains are getting reset. Your whole monetary fundamentals in the world are getting totally reset. Your trade.
Countries are adopting their own digital currency. They are holding gold and silver. They are building their own payment settlement system. Investors are dumping the US bonds. Can't you see that it is open naked now?
Absolutely, sir. The rules based global order, which was strict, again, post World War II, it is actually basically
Correct.
nobody has kind of having the countries are having bilateral trade treaties.
So had it been a cyclical downturn or a recession or an overinflated economy going down once again, one would have understood कि हाँ चलो भैया चलता है.
Yeah.
But we are now headed toward turbulent time in the next 3 to 4 years. So as an investor and a citizen, I must be very careful and very watchful.
And
Be
vigilant.
alert, be
Yeah,
alert,
true that.
stay updated, and make your decisions very wise. That's it.
Precisely, sir. Precisely, and I totally agree with you. We are in some for the precarious.
Sorry, one last thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I talk a lot about this gold and silver. We Indians and we Chinese and these civilizations in the East, even Russians, they have a memory. They have a civilization memory.
True that. True that.
Our empires from before 7th century BC, Mauryan Empire, or AD, the Gupta Empire, or the Mughal Empire, we had mohurs in gold and silver. The Chinese traded in silver till 1935.
Yes. Precisely.
So we have a memory. We know the value of these precious metals. We know what our ancestors used to do. But the West, this America, which was found only 250 years old, Indian civilization is 5,000 year old plus. We've stayed on this planet and this land much times higher than America. America is a country, and that very American people, they have no civilizational memory. They are swindling into debt, equity, credit card, crypto. It is we in the East who understand the value of life, understand the value of precious metals, understand the value of asset creation and savings. The Muslims don't have it.
True that. True. Absolutely true, sir. And I think we are again heading for sort of which the words which Samuel Huntington used during the 90s, the clash of civilizations.
Yep.
It looks like as if the chapter has started where different civilizations will are clashing with each other, and because due to the hyper globalization which happened thanks to the rules based global order which was created by the America. But now I think the time has come where the countries will decide for each other where they want to see themselves, and what they want to exactly do. So different poles are getting created, I guess. Different poles are getting created all over parts of the world, and the poles which are bigger will be able to create as to what to come in future. uh maybe there will be some kind of a showdown, god knows. I will reserve my judgment on that because again things are It's still ongoing, and we're still witnessing, and we are still yet to witness how it's gonna play.
बिल्कुल।
So,
Right.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, for taking out time. आपसे आपने सर समय दिया हमारे लिए. And I'm sure
Always
audience
welcome.
gonna,
Always welcome. Always welcome.
and audience is gonna love your views. And I think there are so many things to learn from from things you said in this episode. So without going into just a very very short question, I just want you to recommend uh, any sort of book, to our audiences. Which books should they be reading, at this particular juncture, of which book you will recommend for them to read. If you can recommend it, I will be really grateful, sir.
You want a geopolitical book?
Any book which you think one should read.
Okay. Since we are in chaotic times, I would urge your listeners to go for something spiritual, because what we all need is wisdom.
Mm. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, in this fast and furious life, we forget ourselves who we are and what are we seeking over here. And I guess it's time, like people come back, people get rooted, people get grounded, and ask themselves, who are we? And for that, I have a couple of two recommendations rather.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
one, people who want to, I give you a list of 3 to 4 books. Right?
Okay.
Fine. That will be even better. So,
Yeah.
people who want to understand the spiritual stuff, start with an autobiography of a yogi, Yoganand Paramahansa. It's a fabulous book. Okay, it's a bestseller. Even Tim Cook of Apple used it. Read it. It was found from his collection after his death.
Yeah.
Then there are two, Living with the Himalayan Masters. It was about Apprentice to Himalayan Masters by Shri M. There are 2 books. The journey continues, the part 2. Okay.
Okay.
There are 2 books by Shri M, which must be read. Then the third one was Living with the Himalayan Masters by Swami Rama. Okay. These 3 books are very essential for you to understand. Anyone who's a starter on spiritual, you need to understand the concept of life beyond Earth. Okay. And then life beyond this mortal realm, actually.
Yeah.
Then I would recommend for any sadhaks or spiritual seekers, who want to get grounded, who want to understand the concept of life. You read, there's a very famous book by Khurshid Bhavnagari, and that book is about, the laws of the spirit world. Okay. Now, this is a very wonderful book which I've read, and it had a very it talked about the concept of how the spirit world behaves and how there are many realms, and irrespective of what religion, and this was a Parsi couple, and the book was written by through automatic writing through by 2 souls, take care, and who described how they were and what they were doing, 2 young kids. And the book again is a best national bestseller. You read it once and you understand the concept that what mundane life are we living? Is it really worth it?
Yeah.
Does it really matter? And what we need to do? And top of it, if you have read the earlier Yoganand, the autobiography of Yogi, two Shri M book, Swami Rama, and now the book by the Khurshid Bhavnagari, The Laws of the Spirit World. And then the Laws of the Spirit World is available in all languages, Hindi, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Kannada. You want whatever you want to, आपको मिल जाएगी online.
Okay.
And then it's a national bestseller. And then the third one I would want you to read Ashtavakra Gita.
Hmm.
There's nothing better. That is the most highest form of Gyan which has been given by Ashtavakra to Radha Janak.
To Rajajan. Correct, sir. Correct, sir. And ultimately, sir, I mean, thanks.
It's not an easy book.
Yeah.
So people people who don't want to read the easy book, that Sanskrit, heavy Sanskrit lipi of Ashtavakra Gita, you can also hear, Ashtavakra Gita by Osho. Those lectures
Yeah.
are fabulous. They are
Yeah.
just fabulous.
Yes. I was listening to it, and I've started listening.
Yeah, they're on many YouTubes and other platforms. You can hear Ashtavakra Gita, not the normal Mahagita.
Yeah,
Ashtavakra
yeah.
Gita.
By
Ashtavakra Gita.
yes,
There are
yes,
90 episodes. 90 episodes. You'll find on the media channel, maybe Spotify or Apple. I don't know. You have to just check it up.
yeah.
So, why I'm telling, giving, instead of giving a geopolitical stuff, because geopolitics पे तो हर कोई बोलता है. But now we are in chaotic and turbulent time that we need to get grounded. We need to ourselves. And it is only when we are rooted into us, we have a clear-headed mind, a clear-headed conscience, that we'll be able to understand better and absorb what is happening around us.
True, sir. Absolutely, and ultimately, sir, like the material world has its own limits, and ultimately, human life cannot be only devoted to the material thing.
This earth has been, conquered by so many empires have come and gone. So many people have come and gone. The material thing stays over here. I really don't understand what all these conquests are about. I think, what the lesson I learned from Ashtavakra Gita was, you must learn to sacrifice your most of your desire. Whatever you choose, okay, I am most attracted to this, I seek this, I seek this, I have a greed of this, I have this, money, stock market, trading, this, that, cars, mobile, food. Some people have addictions of food. Okay, So you whatever addiction you try to, just understand and realize what am I doing the most.
Right, right, sir.
The problem and your solution lies within you because the divine stays within you, not outside. The Advaita philosophy, which is why the Advaita philosophy propounded by Shankaracharya, is again a very wonderful read. I hope your listeners read about it.
Oh, definitely, sir, definitely, and I think they are gonna. I already have some of the books with me, already, and I'm exploring Ashtabakra Gita as well, and I'm sure.
Ashtavakra Gita is amazing. Ashtavakra Gita by Osho is really amazing.
Yeah, no doubt in that, sir, no doubt in that. And I really hope audiences do chime in and do buy those books or do read those books and sort of create a balance with
Many,
your,
many, many of
especially in
the
these
books.
chaotic times.
Correct. And many of these books will get online, like the book by Khurshid Bhavnagari, Laws of the Spirit, is fabulous. It opens your another one, like I collaborated with so many healers and psychics. They said, "Oh, yes, what they have told is right," and that is exactly how the system operates. It is not what we have been taught or what we have been, fed into our brains ever since we were bo- born as a child.
Right, sure, absolutely, and the things which you can't see doesn't mean that those things don't exist. So this is the philosophy I follow. Brain has a limited capacity, so so of course there are another realms, another dimensions to explore.
There are so many things to it. There's so many things. But you read this 4 5 books and you where maybe the lecture of Ocean Ashton Gita and absolutely sufficient.
Oh,
Start it.
absolutely.
Bye.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm doing it, and I hope my listeners and my audience will also do that. And so, with this note, with this positive note, I would close this episode. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. बहुत अच्छा
My
लगा
pleasure.
session.
My
हमने
pleasure.
लास्ट
My
and I really look forward to have more episodes with you. जैसे सर आपके पास टाइम होगा, जैसे आपको समय होगा, सर, प्लीज
100%. It was my pleasure.
but my we really will be grateful if you come and speak on different topics, and share it with our audiences as well. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.